There are three primary types of matter. Certainly there are only three that we'll be concerned with in this course. The three types are solids, liquids, and gases. Each of these types of matter has a couple of characteristic properties that lets you identify them. First, solids have a fixed shape and volume. That is, you can imagine picking up a rock or something similar, and if you can rotate it in space, the shape stays the same, nothing happens to it. The rock doesn't get bigger or smaller as you move it around, so it has a fixed volume. Liquids, on the other hand, have a fixed volume. The volume is always constant, but the shape can change. Liquids take the shape of their container. So with a liquid, you always have a set volume. Imagine if you had a 500 milliliter bottle of water, you would have 500 milliliters of water. That's a fixed volume. You could pour that water into a bowl or a cup, and you would still have the same volume. The shape of the water would change. In a bottle, it's a cylinder, so you would have a cylindrical volume of water. If you poured it into a bowl, you would have a more curved shape. The final type of matter, gases, have no fixed shape and no fixed volume. Gases behave very differently to solids and liquids. You can have a gas in a closed container and it will expand to fill the entire container. And if you make the container bigger or smaller, the gas will expand or contract to keep the same volume as the container. And you can change the shape of the container. The gas will change shape to match the container as well. It's also possible to move between the different states of matter. You can convert between solid, liquid, and gas. So imagine that we start with a solid. It's possible to convert a solid into a liquid, and then it's possible to take that liquid and convert it into a gas. Each of these conversions has a specific name to go along with it. The conversion from solid to liquid is called melting. The conversion from liquid to gas is called evaporating. And it's also possible to go backwards. You can convert a gas into a liquid, and then that liquid back into a solid. Gas going to liquid is called condensation or condensing, and liquids going to solids, that's called freezing. So these are fairly common processes. Everybody who lives in Canada is certainly familiar with melting and freezing, and evaporation and condensation is a common property as well. There's also a way to connect solids directly to gases without going through any intermediate liquid step. This conversion from solid directly to gas, skipping the liquid step, is called sublimation or subliming. And it's also possible to go directly from gas to a solid, again skipping that liquid step. And that process is deposition or depositing. So matter can undergo these phase changes, it's called, when it changes between a solid phase, a liquid phase, and a gas phase. And these are a type of change known as physical changes. Physical changes happen when a type of matter undergoes a change in appearance, but not in composition. So imagine taking solid ice and melting it to get water. It's the same chemical in both cases. The composition hasn't changed, but the appearance certainly has. The other type of change that can occur is a chemical change. Chemical changes happen when a substance, some type of matter, is converted into something with an entirely different composition. So this is, for example, taking hydrogen gas, reacting it with oxygen gas, two totally separate elements, and when those two things interact, you can make an entirely new compound, water.